Today we're back with another batch of Gunsmith's Model 870, OP-SKS, and the M4A1. Let's start with the Model 870. Here is what the final build looks like, if you want to just see a quick preview. Not too hard, this one. So let's start with Skier. Look into his weapons. He has the M870 here, and we're going to edit this build. So the non-negotiable here is the handguard. We need to have this, the Model 870 handguard. This needs to go on. There is a barter for this that you can go and do, which is a 1 rechargeable battery with mechanic. Onto this, we're going to put a little side rail. It doesn't really matter which you use. I'm just going to use the M-Lock 0.93. Onto that, we're going to then add the NC Star Blue tactical laser because it's the cheapest one. Underneath this, we're going to add the M-Lock 4.1 inch rail. And onto this, we're going to add Skier 2's RK4. Next on the front, we're going to add this guy, the cylinder 12 gauge muzzle adapter. Pop that on. And then on the top of that, we're going to add the GK02 as well. These are from Jaeger 2. And that is all you really need. So we're going to select our weapon. So I can't build it. It's exactly the same as the one I have in the stash. And let's move on to the next build, which is the OP-SKS. This looks like this. Now the tricky part about this is that you need a suppressor for the front. There are 3 of them. There's the Hexagon SKS, which is probably the easiest one to do, or you can use the DTK4M. There's one of those on ref if you get really desperate. But what we're going to do is go to Jaeger and we're going to buy our OP-SKS. This must be an OP-SKS. It has to say OP-SKS up here at the top. You can't just go and buy one from Prapor. It has to be an OP-SKS in the name of the gun. We're going to edit this and we're going to have to TAPCOify it. So in the stock section, we're going to replace this with the TAPCO Intrafuse stock. The pistol grip, we're going to replace with the SAW SKS TAPCO pistol grip. And on the stock, we're going to add the TAPCO buffer tube. Onto the back of this, I've picked the highest ergo stock for level 2 traders, which is the CTR stock. There's a couple of different ways of doing this, especially if you've got more than level 2 traders, but we'll just stick with that for now. And we're going to change the magazine over to the 20 rounder because that is required. Now on the top, we're going to change the mount and add this instead of the OP-SKS dust cover. We're going to add this guy, the Leapers UTG Pro MTU 017 receiver cover mount. Onto that, we're actually going to add a Bravo. You can barter this for a whiskey over at Peacekeeper. Now, I said on the front, we're going to have to put on a suppressor. The Hexagon SKS is the easiest. There are 2 more hidden behind here. One of them is really difficult to make it work, which is the DTKP, but you can make it work with the DTK4M, but we're just going to go with the Hexagon suppressor for the time being. And then there's a little mount here, which we're going to add the TAPCO Intrafuse chassis lower rail, and onto this, we're going to use the RK4 again. This is the Skier 2 vertical foregrip. Final part to get this to work, we need to change the OP-SKS cover, this one there, to this guy, the SKS ATI Monte Carlo gas tube cover, to get us 2 more ergonomics, which allows us to finish our build. So here I'm going to select my weapon. I can't build it because it's exactly the same as the one I've got in the stash, and we can now hand this in. Final one is the Gunsmith M4A1. This one can be a little fiddly, and the sticking point of this is the 60 round magazine underneath. I've used the Stanag 60. You can sometimes find this on Raiders. This is probably the hardest one because you can't just buy this on the flea. You have to basically get to the trader level and barter it if you don't find it in Raid. But for this one, we're going to go to Peacekeeper 2 and we're going to barter for this M4. This is quite cheap now, 3 CPUs and 1 CPU fan, and it's the base that allows us to get this done. So we're going to swap our Stanag mag over to the 60 rounder right away. The issue with the other one is it's a bit too heavy, so it makes the build quite hard to finish. We're then going to change over the gas block to the Mark 12. We'll change the handguard over to this, the MOE-SL, and on the front we're going to replace this with a Hybrid 46. This is a Silencer Co Hybrid 46 direct thread mount adapter, and then a Hybrid 46 multi-caliber sound suppressor. This one has a decent barter over at Mechanic, which is 3 wires and 2 capacitors. Then we're going to take off the charging handle. For this one, we are able to use a slightly cheaper Romeo 7 reflex sight. This gets us the sighting range that we need. And on the charging handle, we're going to replace this with this guy, the AR-15 Geisley ACH charging handle. This gets us to just what we need in terms of ergonomics. And we're going to select the weapon. And we can't build it because it's exactly the same as the one we have in the stash. And now we can go back to Mechanic and hand all of these in.